I like to think of it as sketching. So it sort of takes the skills you have with drawing, except you're doing it with a machine. So you might want to pencil out what you want to do, or just have a little play with it, kind of see what the possibilities are as well.
Okay.
So how many of you guys have ever used a domestic sewing machine before? Yeah? No? Cool. All right. So I'll run through how to thread it up. We do have this very handy threading guide, so if you get stuck, this will always be here. Basically, what you want to do is check that there's bobbin thread in the base of it. That just goes into the side and up. It does have this little hole here. Some people get tempted to thread it up, but it does not need to be threaded up unless you're using the buttonhole function. So it's the only time you ever need to use that. Cool. So this is embroidery thread, so it's slightly finer than sort of standard sewing thread. So sometimes they can cause a little few issues with tension and things like that, so it's worth just playing around with your tension on a piece of scrap fabric before you start. So basically, thread goes up here, it goes into the back here, down, and I like to think of it as doing a little end. So you're basically threading the end up backwards. And for those of you that are used to using industrial machines, we don't, just if you ever have to replace the needle, so there's a little screw up here. It doesn't go left right, it goes back to front to back. Cool. So,
nail down here to the needle, front of the needle, you'll feel that groove, whereas probably industrial is at the side. So you just put your nail over and you feel that groove.
And then saving it from Illustrator and bringing it into Next. We don't have. So if you guys wanted to do some testing afterwards,
so once you get that in, again, if you're used to using industrials, it's going to be a bit of a pain. But basically, we need to fish out the bobbin
out of
thread.
Illustrator
So
into Inkscape, you
fish
save
it
it
out,
as an
go up and down once, just using this side here. And then now we've got our bobbin and our top thread.
SVG.
So, cool. So I'll run through how to use the pre-programmed stuff and basically all the functions
we have two
on the side of the
different
machine.
sizes.
So we have
And
the
these
feed dog,
allow you to
and we can turn that on and off here.
And attach it to the machine.
We've got the stitch size
So you need to
here,
choose the
and
hoop
you can
size
change
that's
that just by
appropriate to
turning
you
it.
and your design.
If you need to reverse, you can just push this up.
And make your
We've also got the
document
buttonhole
size
function.
the appropriate
That
size.
should probably remain at 0
So if
for
you're using
most of
small
the
frame,
things that you're
the
doing.
document
And then
needs to
we've
be
also got our
130
zigzag and needle
580,
position, so we can change the
and
position of our
likewise
needle.
the larger
And we can also
160
change
by
basically the width of our zigzag. So up at the top here we have a range of pre-programmed basically embroidery designs. So you can play around with these as well. So usually this will be set at 1/2. And you'll also notice that one half is red and one half is green. So this refers to this thing here, and basically that will change the programming of the machine. So to pick your design, we can also just change it here. However, once you pick your design, what you'll notice is a little number here. So that number correlates to this little chart up the top, and that chart is going to basically run through all the settings the machine needs to be on to be able to produce that design. And then we can start to sort of play around with them. So we'll just start at the very beginning.
You want millions
Cool. So
How or don't you start with your feet up?
yes, just for now.
Yeah.
Basically, put our
And then once you've done that, you can close that.
foot down.
You're right, where is it you see?
Yeah.
Just get yourselves into good position.
Yeah, cool. So very basic, I'm just stitching. Cool. If I want to change that to a zigzag, I can just change my needle position and I can
So
change the width.
and that's basically what
So that's basically I've gone from doing a straight stitch to a zigzag stitch, and I can change the width of that
So when you want to design something,
just by changing this number here. So
the easiest way to do that in Inkscape is to press B,
nice
which gives
and
you
easy.
the Bezier curve,
So
which is most like
basically, with the zigzag, this also becomes our satin stitch or steel stitch. So it's called a steel in embroidery terminology, but we often refer to it as satin stitch as well. So those things are roughly interchangeable, but probably just keep calling it satin stitch for now.
And if you want it back to a straight line, you just put it back to 0.
Oh, there's one thing, just be careful of if it's down, don't move the needle, because it's just going to rip through your fabric. So let's try to get back to straight stitch now.
Yeah.
Assuming I haven't treated. So these threads don't come off as easy because they're used to coming from the top, so sometimes we just pop them around the back. And I will just thread this back up.
Cool. So it's a bit weird to use, but that's why I recommend like designing an illustrator and then bringing it into Inkscape.
Cool. So, assuming everything hasn't gone horribly
On the digital
wrong.
embroidery machine, there's a couple of different stitch types. So the main ones are a running stitch, which is just how a normal sewing machine sews, which I'll draw actually.
So
So
go back to the
running
zigzag.
stitch is just like this, where it just stitches along a straight line.
Cool.
Another
So
one
with
is
our
a
stitch
zigzag
size, what we've
stitch,
got here
where it
is
goes like
these
this.
little lines, little dashes. So what they indicate basically
And stitches
is a satin
across
stitch.
points.
So
And
it's
the
not
last
0,
one,
it is
it's actually
just
4.
before 0. So
Another
when you're
one
trying to
is
hit
like
that mark,
fill,
we
where it
just want to make sure we
fills
have it
and
turned all the way up
ties
and
in
down.
stitches.
And basically that is going to make our satin stitch, which basically means that with a zigzag,
and the last
it's going to
one
put
is
each
a
thread
center
directly
column,
after the next
which
one.
does
So
this, like, large sort of this and create a
cool. And that basically is where we're going to start seeing some of our embroidery techniques in a sort of manual sense. I mean, what's quite cool about this is we have complete control over it. The only thing we want to watch out for is that basically that the feed dog is definitely catching the fabric and it's definitely moving forward. If it stops moving, it's going to start building up on itself. Once it builds up on itself, it's not really going to be able to get over that lump. So just sort of, it does take a little bit of time to get used to, but once you do it, it's great. So coming into these ones here, where we've got pre-programmed, so let's pick a dotted scalloped edge, which is number 7. So number 7 tells me that my needle position needs to be central and that I need to be on satin stitch and that my zigzag needs to be all the way to 5. So you're going to see the needle symbol here is your needle position, your stitch size, your zigzag, and then also the type of foot that you need to use. So we only have foot 1 here at the moment. There's only a couple of designs that need other foots. If you really, really want to try those, I can go grab them for you, but I think for the most part there's a lot on here that you can do anyway. So, let's see how
and then on
cool, so you guys can sort of see that. That is basically putting out a pre-programmed design. Some of them work better than others.
For a running stroke,
Let's try change it to
we want a coloured stroke.
the red colour and just see
and
how
then on the
that's
last tab we work the stroke slowing. So the second one we want it to be coloured, so you put the bold on it. And then for the last one you want to make it
I would say not massively. Okay, I might have got some other things. Yeah, so when you change that, make sure you change these as well.
And then the
So my
last one
stitch
you want
size
to
is
make
now
it
2,
0.01.
5 and 1.
Nice.
Cool. So basically it creates decorative stitches, but they are useful for other things. It's not just about decorating things with them. These are quite cool because you basically got a pre-programmed stitch, but you control where it goes. They also make really good reinforcements as well, and also edgings on things. So say if you want to start something fraying, but you want it to be slightly more interesting, that's where these become really good. There's also things like sculpt edges and stuff like that we can do, and then we can cut around later as well. Cool. So that is pretty much it for this guy, but I have a feeling we might.
Extensions.
So you can kind of see it's worth just having a little play around and kind of seeing the different effects that you can make. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set everything back to normal.
And then hopefully
Did you say that this is
we'll get a nice preview of what
Satin or a steel stitch. So in embroidery terminology, it's called a steel.
And that's it for a running stitch.
But quite often you'll find it being called a satin stitch in a lot of books and things like that. And the difference between a steel and a satin is super marginal. Literally with a satin stitch, theoretically the width can change at any point. Whereas with a steel, it's meant to be consistent. But if you, so it's kind of a little bit of a terminology weird place to be.
And do you not have to use like any fusing? Something underneath, or is that just because it's like
That's because it's delightfully thick material, yes. Which I specifically chose because I knew it embroidered really well. So that's one thing you will definitely find out is how different materials behave. And we'll talk about that a little bit more with the embroidery machine in terms of like how much, if you put really dense threads in it, sucks fabric in basically and changes the shape and size. So same thing here, I'm actually using a really dense fabric so I don't have to use a backing. However, when you're hooping up, using a backing will make everything much more stable, but this felt is pretty good from memory. So for hooping up, and it's the same with this machine, basically we're just going to use an embroidery hoop.
If we make shapes and things like that instead, we need to convert it to parts so that ink stitch knows what to do that.
Cool. And then we just want to try and get it as nice and taut as possible without popping this guy out.
And object to path. And now it's path. So now you can go extensions, ink stitch, English, brands.
So nice and tight, or as much as you possibly can. And so what we're going to do with this one now is we're going to change to this foot here.
Cool.
Cool. So there's a little clip at the back. I'm just going to pull down and take that off. So they change really easily. So this is often called a darning foot. But basically what it is it's going to protect our fingers and not get in the way, and also it's not going to attach itself to the feed dog. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn that off. Cool. So this means that we are now in complete control of basically how fast, how slow, all those kind of things. We don't have the feed dog to assist us with moving the fabric forward. This is theoretically quite similar to this, except that we have an X and Y fit, whereas this one we are going to be that.
This is very weird but very liberating. It takes a wee while to get used to, but it's really fantastic. Keep going. I do this.
So with this, what we really want to do is keep our movement quite consistent. We don't want to make any really fast jarring moves because we've also got to sort of keep up with the needle as well. If we move it really fast and hard, we're likely to basically snap the needle.
They're all pretty simple. So if you change them, it will change the preview.
Straight off the bat, break through.
So I would encourage you to play around with that.
It's a bit of a trade-off just in hands doing this. It's how quickly you move the frame and how quickly you move the accelerator. So if you're doing both really fast, you've got a bit more freedom. You can go slower on the foot.
Yeah. So if you do it, if you do it at 0.1, the machine actually won't be able to handle it and go through.
This is really nice as joining fabrics together, like you don't put the denim and something in the
the lowest sketching is 1.15, and that's really
Cool.
Yes.
So you sort of get the picture there. We're just moving the frame really nice and smoothly.
Cool, so we'll do the last
So that is freehand embroidery.
two stitches. We'll do a zigzag.
It doesn't really work with these pre-programmed ones so much. You're better off
Yeah, so hit cancel.
sort of just pivoting and moving the hoop.
And
So you
wanna
can do the other one
draw
in a
another
hoop
path
as well,
using
so
the
with the other
Bezier
foot.
tool, which is
But we're better off pivoting and moving as opposed to trying to do a zigzag. If we tried to do a zigzag now, it would be in like here. Yeah. So, does anyone want to have a little go at this?
And Hannah, I do love this one without frame, but it's because I've got some thicker wool batting than that, so you could have a couple of layers. Like if you've got some denim and some, say you had 4 layers of denim, 3 layers of denim, you probably get away without having
and
frames.
once you've drawn your path, then you can
One thing
enter.
I'll show you guys quickly is applique. Sorry, I nearly forgot. Cool. So with applique, and this you can also do on the digital embroidery
Oh, no, we
machine.
need to make it.
So depending whether you
so
want to have
like
applique
the
all
round
over,
stitch,
or you want to
we
have
want a
applique
stroke.
just in one placement. So if it's just in one placement, I would just pop my
So
fabric on top of my
we want
hoop.
no fill,
If I
we
was
want a stroke,
hoping to have bits all
solid
over the show,
stroke
I would
colour,
hoop it up
and
together,
we want
so I'd
to
have
make
2 layers of
the stroke
fabric.
style like a little bit thick.
So
So,
what I'm going to do
maybe like 1 millimeter.
is make a shape.
Extensions, big stitch, English frames, and this little. Cool, so you can see that you've got a zigzag.
Pull this out.
Cool, so that's a zigzag.
And then
stitch.
what I'm going to do is I am just going to cut.
And if you continue to
around
make the line
shape.
length thicker,
And you've got nice felt, but imagine it has to be really highly frayed, and you can play with that as well.
it'll just make the
Have all the
zigzags
frames coming
thicker.
off in certain directions.
Yeah. I think we'll leave the satin columns for now, because they are super complicated.
So it's hard to do this in front of
Um,
isn't
Yeah,
it?
I know. It's going to be ratty, and this is not that great either. Cool. Yeah, same thing, just clean up these
So
streets.
once we have our design.
So basically now I've attached a bit so I can make a whole bunch of spots. So yes, you can have frayed edges, or what we could also do is we could then tidy that up. So what I will do is I will change back to my other foot.
But if you have like a really pair of lean cargo pants and you want to do some really amazing knee pads that, you know, we'll say leather knee pads and the rest is canvas, and you can have leather and you can have some batting, you do some free machine embroidery, just black on black or something like that, so you start to get nice texture and things. So think about it, it's very nice and crafty, but think about the applications for, you know, what you want to do in your handwriting and what you want to create. I'm going to have a sample of something I've got actually and show you after as well without a hoop, which is very thick layers together.
Cool. Alright, so I've put the feed dog back on and basically just gone back to my satin stitch. So I'll show you that you can very quickly wind around the edges.
And then where it says, so the directory folder is going to
Something's
start
gone wrong
to
there.
fly into.
But basically you sort of get the picture, we can then go back and tidy it up.
Yeah.
It's going to be a little bit different for the MacBook, but if you want to watch on the machine, the easiest way to set this is to go into the file browser, which is top left. So the left is the top, it's the little file and
Don't quite know what, so yeah. So just the embroidery thread looks like it's having a tiny bit of a mere going through the machine. Yeah, but I think that's, I didn't test this, I haven't reset the tension, so that might be something that's worth doing if you decide to go with an embroidery thread. So these are the embroidery threads, and these are the same ones that go through the machine, so you can keep it quite consistent, but don't feel like you're married to them. You can use any type of sewing thread to do embroidery as well.
New folder, and name the folder something simple.
Bobbin is just normal thread, yeah.
That's what you
And is embroidery thread also of polyester?
Yeah, so we've got two types. We have poly neon.
Okay.
So if it says poly neon, it has a back polyester. And we also have some which are called classic, which are made out of viscose. So we found out the hard way that they dye. So by accident we put a whole bunch of white embroidery in something. We're like, oh, it won't dye, it's polyester. No, it was viscose. So that was so good.
Yeah, because you have to think about the after thing. You might want to dye this. That's a really good question. You might want to do something with it. So this is just part of a process.